outfit with a whistle. He should do it in that.
All right, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to another AGM Ninja workshop. We call these money-making workshops. Today we're going to be talking about making marketing practical. So there's a lot that can go into a marketing strategy, but we're going to try to, just go through the basics and give you guys some information that you can build out your own strategy, because as we've seen it many, many times, without a strategy and without like a plan, we just end up failing, right? And so if you don't have a plan, or how does the saying go? You fail to plan, plan to fail, or however that saying goes. I think that's it. Today, I'm going to be doing the workshop with, I'm going to introduce you to 𝗟𝗢𝗟𝗪𝗓. He's our senior account manager. He has 25 years in the marketing game. We call him Grandpa Marketer now. 25 years in this world is definitely a long time. Things change so much. So he has experience everything from Google ads, Google Analytics, Facebook ads, TikTok ads, all kinds of different platforms he's helped me with. And he also helps me create the strategies for all the agency accounts. So he has a lot that he's going to share with you guys today. He also is the one that is mostly responsible when I need one of our stores, e-commerce stores, to get scaled. So you have something going on already, you have something working. Well, how do we take that to the next level? He can share that strategy with you guys as well. He's even bought and sold his own Shopify store. So he has a lot of expansive experience, not just from sitting here where you are, sir, but also from even before AGM in the marketing world. So help me welcome 𝗟𝗢𝗟𝗪𝗓.
All right. Thank you guys all for coming tonight. A lot of what my experience is in, I've been doing this for so long. I was doing marketing when it was just classified ads in newspapers. I was doing advertising in Facebook before there was even a billing platform. You'd have to just send them an invoice and what you want, and there was no digital things. So a lot of my experience comes from the way things are bought and sold and the way people make decisions on buying, which has been the same whether it's a TikTok or whether it was the case way back when there was just billboards. People make buying decisions and people run businesses about the same way. Just because the technology has changed doesn't mean people have changed, and doesn't mean that the implementation of a strategy is really all that different. And so for today, one of the things we wanted to do is do something a little bit different than what a normal event would be. We're going to go over each individual business where we can and lay out how we at AGM would do a strategy for you. And so we're going to go over what makes up a strategy. Why do you need one? So one of the things is, Jorge just went over who we are. At AGM, that's our mission and our mandate. Businesses hire us to create a strategy, to lay out a plan for you as to, like, you want to accomplish a goal, what do you have to work with and how do you get there? So with what Manuel has led the agency on was this implementation of a strategy and having a strategy, actually knowing enough about your business to create one, and then we come in and we lay it out the right way. Show you where you're missing things, show you what your correct sales process should be, and then my specific mandate is to implement that strategy. My goal at AGM is I'm responsible for all the accounts. So when an account comes in, it's my responsibility to help implement the strategy and to make sure that the client understands what it is. So when you talk about a strategy, there's no one more versed at how to communicate it to you than me, because it's my job all day to talk to each individual person and explain to you what the strategy is, how do you apply it to your business, and what it's going to result in if we do it right. Because just because you have a strategy doesn't mean it's going to work towards where you want it to go. The reality about a strategy is, as you implement, you get data back and things change, and so we have to be able to work with that. So one of the things we want to talk about is, what is a marketing strategy, right? And a lot of people think of a marketing strategy as sort of a list of things you have to do. And that's really not what a marketing strategy is. A marketing strategy is essentially your goals, right? Your set of things that you want to accomplish, the pieces you have to work with, and the overall map of how you get there. It isn't the turn-by-turn directions. As I said, as you drive down the road of implementing a strategy, you get data back and things change. So the strategy's job is to keep you on the right path.
Yeah, I was going to say one thing about that. It was one of the things that we do is we take the inventory, like Dan's saying, of all of the assets that you have. That should be kind of like your first thing. It's like, okay, what social media platforms do you already have? Do you have a customer list? Do you have a website? Do you have, maybe reviews, everything like that should just be like put out on a piece of paper or something where you can see it, and then the puzzle creation starts after that. That's kind of how we look at it. It's like, how do we fit all these pieces together, right?
Exactly. It's a lot like Legos. And the reason that a strategy is necessary is when you own a business, here's what happens. You start working on it, and you have one person doing this, and you end up doing a bunch of random actions. And what ends up happening is one person's doing project A, one person's doing project B, and none of them are towards your overall goal. Having the strategy will put your business on a path of, all right, I want to get from point A to point B, and everyone's doing work towards that goal.
So it's not just busy work.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And it's not just random actions, right? You don't have someone working on a TikTok account if your goal is to get video views on YouTube, because your strategy dictates, all right, my goal is to get this. Don't do anything outside of that. So the strategy's job is to keep the whole business in line. Your VAs, your staff, your people at your fulfillment center. The whole marketing strategy's job is to keep the business towards the path of whatever you want your goal to be. So, and when you look at a marketing strategy, it isn't the day-by-day instructions on how to do something. It's what should be done. Should you be running this ad? Should you be running, not how do you run them or what buttons to click in Facebook. A lot of people look at marketing strategy and think, I'm going to be given a set of instructions on how to use Facebook, or what ads to run, or who to reach out to for influencers. Those are important pieces, but they're not the important overall goals for a strategy. Because what you might find is as you run ads, things change, right? You might say, oh, I'm going to run influencer ads, and then the influencer ads don't work. Well, if that's all you ever relied on, then you're going to run into a situation where you're left with nothing. But if your overall goal is towards a specific goal, then the individual pieces can be moved around as the data you get from running the ads and implementing the strategy comes to be, because every business is different, every customer base is different. But the overall strategy is a very common thing that you can apply across businesses. That's what I'm going to show you today. I'm going to show you how it doesn't matter what you're running. You're a lawn business, someone's running a salon, someone's running a e-commerce business, or an influencer. The overall strategy is not that different depending on the business, and I'm going to show you that, there's a goal that you're trying to reach and different pieces that you can put in to get there.
And I was going to just add, usually we break it up into 3 categories when we're building out this strategy. Are you trying to get more leads? Are you trying to get more followers? Is it just like a branding thing? Mm-hmm. Or are you trying to get more revenue? So like conversions on a Shopify store or Amazon maybe or something like that. You're trying to convert revenue right there on the website. Usually it doesn't include somebody talking to anybody or anything like that. Or is it leads where it's like you got to talk to somebody and you got to show up to their house and deliver the service or something like that. So that's how we break it up.
Exactly. And what you'll find is that, you have a question?
Yeah, just a side question real quick.
Yeah.
For you guys at AGM, for me, I'm in credit card processing. It takes, let's say, an average between 5 to 10 contacts for me to be able to sign somebody up for my services.
Yep.
So what is it for you guys in terms of contacts? How many contacts?
Let me just repeat it because I don't think they were hearing on the stream. And so he's asking, in his line of work, it takes up to 10 contacts, like meaning touches, or how many times you have to talk to the customer before they convert. That's actually pretty normal. Manuel always talks about at least 7, but I think the latest data actually that when I was doing some research for another workshop, it could take up to 500 touches before anybody,
And we're going to go over that in the strategy.
Like, think about it, if you've ever bought a course or anything above $500, just think about that online. How long were you following that person, or how long, were you watching their videos and those touches before you made the decision? A lot of times it's about a year. So how many times, you were contacted throughout that year? In your specific case, he was saying that he does credit card processing. So it's very much like talking to the customer on the phone. And it's a more of a traditional sales cycle than just online sales cycle where they don't talk to anybody. So 10 seems actually pretty good, pretty normal.
And what we'll do is when we get to that stage, we'll map out on the whiteboard one of the things, how you would go about creating a strategy. And as I said, it doesn't matter what your business is. Why? Because your goal is to generate revenue or leads or visibility. And getting people's attention isn't all that different depending on what your business is. And I'm going to show you that no matter what your business is, the different Lego pieces don't really matter. It's the overall strategy that's implemented that is modular, because as you implement the strategy, things will change as you do it. So why is it needed? A strategy is needed because when you're in a business, you're often working on the business and you're too close to it. And a lot of times what end up happening, you end up doing this action or that action. A lot of times a lot of busy work. And you're not a lot of those actions are not working towards a common goal. You'll find that you could be working on project A that you think is super important, but it's not leading you towards what your overall goal is. And you'll find people working on stuff that has nothing to do with their overall vision of getting leads. They're working on their profile, or they're working on something that's not even related to their business. They don't even have an email marketing sequence in place for a follow-up, and they're worried about things that are unrelated. Well, the strategy's job is to keep all that in line, show you what you should be focused on, so that as we move forward, you have something to implement. Also, when you have teams, having a strategy keeps all your people connected. If you have VAs, if you have employees, if you have people who you hire out for work, if they know what your plan is, it's more likely that they're going to help you achieve it. They're going to be on the same goals as you are. What you don't want is people to be in your business who aren't serving your needs and not serving the goals of the business. You end up wasting time, you end up wasting money and resources, because those people are taking time out of your day to manage, or taking resources out of the business, working on stuff that isn't going to help you accomplish your goal. And you'll find that in a lot of businesses. When we have a client at AGM, a lot of times, one of the first things we have to do is all this damage control. We are entrusted to fix a business that has a ton of holes, and the business owner has no idea what the holes are. Why? They're too close to it. What we do is we take all the pieces and we build a strategy for that. Identify all the weaknesses. What are the competitors doing? And I'm going to show you some of that. But the strategy's goal is, once that process is done, everyone's moving in the same direction, and you don't have a lot of random actions wasting your business's money. So when we're talking about what is the result of the application of a strategy, I wanted to give you guys some examples. So on the board, you'll see 2 different accounts, brand new accounts, didn't have anything going on. So they hire AGM, and we're like, well, we need to implement a strategy. So the first slide is an e-commerce store who was struggled in this $30,000 a month for a long, long time. They couldn't get out of it. And they hired AGM, we did a strategy. We found holes in their retargeting and holes in their follow-up process. They couldn't get beyond that. So they ended up spending more money for new customers and never selling money to the ones they already had. So we fixed that process, and now we've doubled their sales in a matter of a year. And so that's one of the things you'll find with the strategy. When we look at the pieces that are missing and we fix them, it's more likely you're going to accomplish the goal. The slide on the right is a brand new store that was built right before the holidays last year. They had nothing. And so we were able to go from 0 to $10,000 a month in sales on someone who wasn't spending all that much money in a few months. You might think to yourself, well, $10,000 a month in sales isn't all that much. Well, what if you're running a little craft store and you're paying AGM $2,000 a month to grow it, and you're getting $10,000 a month back for the $2,000 you're spending? It's a pretty good deal. Yeah. So just because you don't have a big business like the Natural Slim that's doing $100 million doesn't mean you don't need strategy. You need strategy no matter what your business is. Why? Because your time is valuable, your resources are valuable, and you're putting time and effort into the business, and you don't want to waste it. So having the strategy will accomplish your goal no matter how big or small it is. And I'm going to show you that.
And also, I was going to point out, if you notice here, the dip that came in at the end of the year. So we had to go back to the strategy, just find out, what holes we had that weren't working anymore, and just kind of fix those things. And you can see then it started trending up after that. So it is a continual thing. It's not going to be a one-time set it and forget it. Okay, we have a strategy. We're going to get to the moon now. It's definitely, you got to stay close to it. Every month, for example, with our accounts, we revisit the strategy and we make updates as needed. Because 1, your business can change, or 2, these platforms change all the time. Facebook, Google, all these things, they change all the time. You had a question? Here, let me give you the mic. 1 second.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Test.
Yeah.
So you said the slide on the left is a business that was doing $30,000 a month before you guys got with them?
Yeah, and they were just stuck in this $30,000 a month. They couldn't scale beyond it. And one of the problems is they didn't have a process for reselling to their customers. Everything they were doing was new customer acquisition. The problem with doing that process is you get more money out of the people who've already paid you than going after the shiny fish.
Right, and then they weren't doing anything to retain their existing customers.
That's correct. They weren't doing any email marketing. They weren't doing any text messaging. They didn't even have a pixel in their store to retarget their people. So it's all buy my thing, buy my thing, buy my thing. And so therefore they couldn't hold anything. And so therefore they couldn't scale their store. So you'll find in different businesses, there's different reasons why you need strategy. So let's say you have a service business, and so this is an example of a service business. The person just wanted phone calls. So they hired AGM, they weren't even getting calls. And they're like, oh, we need 5, 10 calls a day. And as I said, my presentation today isn't just for the big businesses, because for a business that is an accountant, you may only need 4 or 5 calls a day. And so you might need a strategy to get you 4 or 5 calls a day. You may only need 2, 3. Or you might have a process like the credit card processing where maybe one good lead for a week where you sell is all you need. You never, you don't know.
Depending on how much your service costs.
Depending on how much it costs.
We help some customers that their service is $5,000,
Yeah.
$10,000, and even $25,000
Yeah.
each time. So it's, as long as they get 1 or 2 or whatever, they're happy. So like you're saying, even with the low call volume.
Correct. And so when you have
Strategy's
something
working.
like a strategy business for a service, and where you're looking for lead gen or phone calls, it depends on how much money you're looking to get from that. You might find that a business, like for AGM services, we may get 2, 3 good leads a day, and that may be more than enough for our needs. If you had a business that was like a pressure washer, and it's low ticket, you might need 5, 10 calls a day, 15 calls a day to service that. But strategy is necessary when you have a business like this who wasn't doing anything. It was the holidays, they wanted phone calls, they hired AGM. We put a plan in place to get them 10, 15 calls a day, and they're happy with that. And so the implementation of the strategy is important in having it to begin with. So you might have a business that's an influence, right? You're looking for reach, you're looking for eyeballs, you're looking for people to watch your videos, visit your whatever information you want to present. And so you'll see on the left, a person had a YouTube channel, and they wanted more, they wanted to double their visibility. So we put in plan in place to promote the right videos, to make sure the SEO was right on the YouTube channel. And we were able to get them more watch time without a lot of ad spend. I don't remember we spent much ads on this and all. They hired us to just get their word out there, and they got their message out there. Because
So this is a screenshot from YouTube
Yeah.
Analytics.
Yeah,
So
and-
the lines are watch time hours and also views.
Correct, because that person was just looking to get visibility. And what you'll find it doesn't matter what your business is. It could be influencers, could be e-commerce, could be leads. You want to accomplish a goal, and we want to show you that any implementation of the proper strategy will get you there. And
The numbers of growth on that?
it was from an average of 300. It was 3x. So they were getting 300,000, and it ended up being 900,000
Views, yeah.
views.
300,000
3x,
views
yeah.
to 900,000.
And they were
monthly
just looking
views,
to
right?
get visibility.
Yeah, we're looking at monthly.
Yeah, and they were just looking to get visibility on their.
And
brand.
then this over here is representing all the people that are visiting their website from all these, YouTube videos getting watched, and all those views represents, traffic.
Correct.
And then from there, a different strategy about converting this traffic.
Yeah, a few
Yeah, this
months,
is December, January, February, March, and April.
Yeah, and what you'll see on the graph, is that as you implement strategy and you bring traffic in, then you have to put a strategy in place to convert it. But when you're first starting out, it's like an influencer. Visibility is what you're looking for. And as I said with the strategy will change based on the maturity of your business. You might have a starter business that needs a specific strategy. We implement it. We grow the business that needs a second strategy, an updated one based on the current level of the business. So that's one of the reasons why it's important to do this process where you create a strategy, which we're going to do with you people today. And so we're thinking, what are the basic parts of a strategy? And so this is, it's not complex in that it's hard. It's complex in that you have to spend the time to think about it. As I said, you have to look at your goal. What is the goal of your business? Who are you trying to reach? And then what do you have to work with? What are the different pieces do you have? Do you have videos to work with? Do you have a store? Do you have email marketing in place? What are the pieces you have to work with? And how do you use those pieces to accomplish the goal? That is essentially the case for any business, no matter what you sell, from IBM to Apple to whatever. They're trying to say, what is their goal? What do they have to work with? And who are they trying to reach?
And again, we break it up into 3. Or you want more leads, more revenue, or you just want more views, like more branding, more recognition, PR type of stuff, right?
Exactly. And what you'll find is as your business grows and develops, the Legos you have to work with in the business change, right? Once you add email marketing to a business, then you need to make sure that that's worked into the strategy as to now you have to have a process in place to manage it and to do the things necessary to make it worthwhile. You're getting data from it. But a marketing strategy isn't complex. And actually what ends up happening is when you make it complex, you end up not implementing it. You end up being in a position where you're frozen, you get frazzled, and you're like, I can't implement it, it's too hard. And our job here today with you and what we do with clients is simplify everything. Even though the work we do on the back end may be complex with our ManyChat people, our Shopify people, the copywriting, the business owner's job isn't to make it complex. Our job is to simplify it because we need the business owner to make decisions. We have to tell the business owner, hey, you want to accomplish this goal, this is what you have to work with, and this is what we can do for you. And we have to sell them on the idea that, hey, we need you to help us accomplish this goal. Maybe it's make videos. Maybe it's empower our team to do copywriting. And so we need to simplify these concepts, which I'm going to do for you today, as simple as possible. Because as I said, the more complicated you make a lot of the stuff, the less likely any of you are to take action. Why? Because people just give up. And if you have a good strategy, one that you understand, you're more committed to when things go south. And unfortunately, that's what happens with the strategy. We run ads, they don't work. We have an ad account go down. We have an email marketing where something happens. You run something with a supplier and the product you can't get the product. But if you have a strategy in place that you're following, you can work around those things because you're committed to a goal. And so that's one of the reasons why we're really knee-deep and real focused on strategy. Manuel is always preaching, put the plan in place and make sure people are buying into it. And what you'll find with a lot of times is questions come along, and which you guys will have a ton of questions after this presentation. What do I do with this? What do I do with that? And you'll find a lot of the questions have nothing to do with strategy at all. They're little things that are important in the sense that they need to be done, but they're not important to the overall strategy. People are focused on, no one's calling me back, or no one's answering the phone when I call them, my leads aren't working, no one's opening my emails. They're important topics, and they need to be addressed, but you'll find that when you look at the overall strategy, some of the stuff that everyone's worried about isn't even important to get the goal done. Obviously, we have to fix them, but they're not part of the overall strategy that we're going to go over today. So one of the things that we wanted to do today is do strategies live for anyone here. So who here has an e-commerce business? They sell a physical good or product. They sell something physical. You sell a physical service. What do you sell?
So, Jay, microphone?
Yes.
Yeah.
We need the microphone.
Oh,
Jesus is going to help us.
Jesus will help us.
It should be on.
Thank you. So it's a supplement company. The first product is in manufacturing right now. So I'm about to start it, but I did have a question of, kind of what's next. But the supplement itself is, I don't know who's here is familiar with creatine, but it's basically a creatine product, but it's flavored with, the first flavor is going to be fruit punch. So that's the first supplement. So at first it'll only be one supplement. So can I ask a question?
Yeah, so I'm gonna. So you're selling supplements. Where do you want to sell them?
Online, Shopify.
Shopify. And you've never sold them before.
No, in
Correct.
manufacturing.
So it's gonna. So it's gonna be. You don't have a list to work with.
Say it again?
A list.
No.
A list.
Customer list.
So what platforms were you gonna start to try to sell it on?
So I was going to start with Facebook and Instagram, and then sadly, I know I'm young, I know nothing about TikTok.
Well, no big deal.
But I know that one's important. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Do you have content of people who have tried your product that you can use as the assets?
I'm going to. I have my samples arriving at the end of this week. So this weekend or next weekend, I'm going to be holding like a little taste testing event. So I'll be able to actually get content then, and I'll put it on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. So I'll be able to start
So you'll be able to do
creating
content.
that. Yeah, exactly.
So do you have a sequence in place that when someone buys, you can upsell them other things?
That's my problem, and that's what my question was going to be. The website and the store is at first revolving all around creatine. Do I just buckle down and go hard on that and create? For example, each flavor itself is a whole nother investment. Because I have to pay for all of it up front, basically. So do I just keep going with creatine and start with fruit punch, then add, for example, sour apple or grape, whatever. I'll survey all that later, but you know what I mean? Like, do I keep going hard on that, or because then I can sell it as a package of buy or two, get whatever. Or I can do a pre-workout supplement, which is much, much higher selling and much, much more popular, especially right now with TikTok and everything. It's all about like pre-workout. And I talked to somebody that has a very successful supplement company, and they were like, dude, do the pre-workout. So I'm like, I think that might be better because I could even be like, I can pair it, buy the pre-workout and the creatine, free shipping, whatever. I can come up with like a variation there, So I think I'm debating as like a branding point of view. I think it's kind of better just to buckle down on the creatine and become the creatine guy and then add more supplements. But from a I guess like a selling point, like brand. I feel like
From a strategy
puts hard
point.
yeah. But from a strategy point, is it better? And also, there's better margins on the pre-workout than the creatine. Like creatine is just insanely expensive right now.
You need a
so-
bigger catalog. That's the
Yeah,
answer.
exactly. So it's like, do I just do pre-workout creatine?
Yes.
And then,
No, you need a bigger catalog.
okay.
Going with one supplement.
Exactly.
We actually
That's my
specialize a lot in supplements. A lot of the accounts that we handle are supplements.
Yeah, awesome.
So-
That was what I was thinking. That's what I got advice on before, and I was like, but from a branding point of view, I was like, do I just buckle down and go hard on creatine? And
Well, the one thing about that is that sales cures all. So when you have sales, you have money to reinvest in your business. So those first few sales, you have to get them first before you do anything else.
Yeah.
So you could focus on the things like getting your catalog. Does your store convert? I don't know. You have to drive some traffic into your store.
Yeah, you
sell
gotta get
some
going
stuff,
first for sure.
Yeah.
and get some sales. While you're doing that, you're reinvesting your revenue back into the business. So then you're doing the upsells. You could even upsell something but not deliver it. You could say it's a pre-order for an upcoming product, give them 50% off.
yeah, that's what I'm gonna be doing once I get the taste testing thing. I can start taking pre-orders at that point.
But you could be taking pre-orders at any point. You can say, this delivery won't be here for 90 days, but I'm going to give you 50% off. And if, let's say, you never got the product, and you give the customers their money back. But you have those customers in your world that you can start emailing them. You can start communicating with them, providing value. And if the creatine is as good as you believe it is, you'll sell them the next creatine bottle. You get them on a subscription plan. But I wouldn't overcomplicate it by making it, am I going to sell 30 other things in my catalog? Get revenue to your store.
Yeah.
Make sure it converts. Make sure you have a process in place to follow up with your customers. Because even with a small catalog, with a group of impassioned customers, they keep buying over and over again. You can build an entire business over a good customer base of 1,000 people who are buying
Yeah.
every month. And then you can have the revenue to build an entire line of products that they want. You send them an email. What flavor would you want? Would you like chocolate or strawberry? And let them tell you. Great, thank you for saying you'd want chocolate. Would you like to buy my next chocolate one for 75% off? You can pre-order today. And when they give you money, that knows that they really want it. They're not just telling you they would like chocolate. And you hit your customer base up for revenue, and then you use the revenue to buy the product. So when you're looking at strategy, that's where you're looking. Your goal is to sell supplements, right? So what are the pieces that you have? You need to have an ad account. You need to have, and not an ad account on every platform. You need to start one place. Why? Because your attention is going to get fractured. Start on Facebook. If you have video content, do something on YouTube. Focus on one thing. Get those first few sales. Once you get those first few sales, make sure you have a process in place to follow up with your customers. Make sure they're happy. Make sure you're getting reviews from them. Making sure you're thanking them. Making sure that they know how to come back to your store for more stuff. Then you do the other work necessary to grow your brand. Because what you'll find is you might find that your best customers are not the people you thought they were. That happens a lot of times with the client. A client will say, oh, I ask them, what's your best customer? And they'll give me the type of person who's their best customer. And then we start doing the work and we find out it's not the men who are their best customers, but women 40 plus. And they never even thought about it because they're too close to their business. They don't really look at all the pieces. But the data will show. The problem is you need to generate data, specifically with a new brand. You might have to lose money on some sales. You might have to sell some sales at a loss. Sell them at 50% off just to get the store to get some data in it. And then those customers, you make money over time on them. So that's what I would do if I were an e-commerce seller who had no business. And I've done this a bunch of times. A store with no pixel data, no sales, no nothing. I would start running discount offers. I might lose some money on it, but I go into it thinking, all right, I'm going to lose $5 grand. I'm going to lose 10 grand. Because it's an investment in your store, and the customers are very valuable. Even a store that loses money, sell the store and the customer base to another supplement person who has the infrastructure to take advantage of your customer base. I sold the last store I had. I sold a store for a good amount of money, and they didn't even use my store. They burned it to the ground, took the customer base, and are selling them a bunch of beach stuff. Didn't even want my store. They told me they wanted the store. They didn't want it. They just wanted the customer base. And they're just selling to that list over and over and over again. Cool. And so a customer base is the only value that any business has. It's not the store, unless you have like a trucking company, you have trucks, or you actually have hardware and that kind of thing. But the true value of any business is the customer base. And so when you're building a business, get customers first, get revenue, and then all the stuff will come into line.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Thanks.
Yeah. Does anyone else have an e-commerce business or anything like that? No e-commerce businesses.
Sell
How
any
about an
products
Amazon
online?
business? Who sells anything physical online or sells information? What do you sell? You sell books, okay.
But I
Okay.
I wasn't going to raise my hands because I don't promote them on Amazon yet.
Okay.
I just promote them at events and sell them at events, and every once in a while, someone will go straight to Amazon to buy them from my website.
Do you do any lead generation to get people to then, you can send those people to Amazon once you have their information?
Only organic, like meeting in person, and I send them to my website, and then they can go straight to the book. I have a free chapter online, and I have, so that's the lead gen, is the free chapter online, and then I have a free, to sign up, to grab their email, I have 5 lessons to loving life.
And how are you getting visibility? So you're generating the visibility by your
Myself.
being out in the world.
Yes.
But then
yes.
you're limited by where you can be, the
Yes.
places you can be.
And I have courses on Facebook right now that are going to a membership site.
Okay.
And at that point, I'll be looking to sell online because I have the value ladder set up with the book and the courses, free challenge to a course with the funnel and everything that goes to it. But I just haven't put the courses out in a platform that's easily sellable. Facebook isn't great for courses.
You can use Kajabi. There's a lot of places
Yeah.
to sell.
But I have, my friend uses Mighty Networks, and so we're partnering so that my courses will be in her membership site.
Awesome. So you're limited again by the fact that you are physically talking to people to generate the traffic.
Currently,
Or
yes.
but you could be using content for that very purpose.
Yes, and I have so she's going to piece out some of the content into usable forms for Facebook, for YouTube, so that we can start advertising it and take it from just me promoting it to a lead gen option with Facebook and, with ads or whatever we want to do. But we haven't got the content online yet to be ready to go full force.
So let's say we had to create a strategy for that very thing, because that's sometimes a common thing. You'll have someone who has information and that moves into a physical product, or you might have a physical product who ends up selling information. There's a lot of different ways to do it. Obviously, you need to get attention on it.
Right.
And when people want to invest their time and effort into whatever it is you have to sell, they're doing it because they have a need or want, and they're looking for a solution to a problem. So you need to create content around whatever that is, right? If it's relationship help, you need to create content around that. Little tips. You'll find that most people spend all day worrying about videos when what's really viral is some of these stupid TikTok videos. Some of these videos that I don't watch, but the young kids watch them, but they get tons of attention, and they get people to click on them. Completely raw, unproduced, bad audio, guys not even looking at the camera, the song's stupid. People love them and they eat them up. Why? Because in many cases, some of these videos speak to the very problem that someone's trying to solve. So take whatever it is you're trying to sell and break it up into the one thing that is most likely to get someone's attention. And then go every day and do a 2-minute video on that very subject. Even if you do the same video over and over and over again, what you'll find is the person who hears it for the 50th time may hear something in what you said that even if it's the same thing you said the first time, it's the overexposure to your message. They hear it differently.
It's also easier to give away one, like let's say you have something that solves everything. It's 100 things, but if you just break it up into just one thing at a time and give that away, let's say, it's a lot easier to convert on that. People don't, it's overwhelming to try to get the whole, solution. Just give me one little piece. I'll do one little thing at a time. And that's how, that's how people like to consume.
She was like, you're giving everything away in your challenge. Your first session should be the whole challenge. You already have 2 exercises and 2 stories and 2 examples. Just have that be the challenge, and then the rest they can pay for.
Yeah,
Or you can piece it out in content.
Exactly.
Yeah, you just need to break your message down into the one thing that most people are going to respond to. Even if it's not everything that you sell. Be passionate about talking about, that you can talk intelligently about. Pretend you're at a cocktail party and you had to talk to someone for an hour about one subject. What would that be? And then make a video about that every day. And so that's how you come up with what do I talk about? Well, what would you talk about if you weren't on camera? If you were just at a gathering, a birthday party, and someone asked you about it, and you could talk intelligently for a long period of time and hold someone's interest. It's not that complicated. We make all these things very complicated. We make video complicated, we make the messaging, when in reality, most people want similar things. They want to be happy, they want to find peace, they want lack of problems, and they want to solve things in their lives. Not that complicated. You need to find the one message that you can do that for someone intelligently for an hour, and then break that message up into 2-minute segments.
Awesome.
Awesome. Anyone else have a product or service or information?
You need leads? Anybody need leads?
So you sell coupon leads. All right, so you do leads. All right, so we're going to go over some lead gen. Is it leads for a service?
For a service.
What kind of service is it?
Hi. We teach self-defense as well as like weapon safety, weapon retention, realtor safety, but mostly all classes based around keeping you safe.
That in person or online?
In person.
Okay.
Eventually, we'd like to add courses online as well, but we're new.
And who, like, when you look to do that, who is your ideal person? The person that you make the most money off of, easiest to sell?
Our ideal customer is a big corporation that has a wellness program for their employees, or that just wants to do an employee appreciation or customer appreciation, but companies that care about the safety of their employees, basically.
Okay, and what do you, like, do you have any content that you would use to reach those people?
We do. We have a ton of video. We have a ton of pictures. Our trainer and co-founder is very marketable, so
Okay.
he could go viral with the right
Okay.
with the right
So you're,
Content.
so you,
placement,
Yeah.
content.
so you do have stuff to work with. So one of the easy things for that type of business is people probably are already typing in into Google the solution to a problem. One of the low-hanging fruits is what, let's say, how do I give protection? How do I find, people type in the solutions to problems all day long.
Employee benefits.
Yeah, benefits, and so.
I have a question. How do you presently get those leads? Or any leads, I guess, or,
I do a lot of networking.
Okay.
And then we're also, I mean, we've done what you guys said not to do. Facebook, YouTube, Google, or Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, Instagram, all the things. And
You're all over the place.
none of them very well because we're trying to do it all. So
Yeah, so ideally, when you have a product that you don't know how to sell it, and you have a service that you're looking for leads for, you don't know how to do it, Google's your friend, right? Google's your friend. People are typing in searches for everything. How do I train my dog? How do I fix the radiator in my car? How do I do that? If you're looking for low-hanging fruit, look and see what people are searching on Google. Run a very simple call ad, $5 a day. For whatever it is that the person, someone were trying to find out how to find you, what would they be asking for? What would they ask a friend if they wanted you as a referral?
probably team building,
So
team building activities or corporate wellness.
So you run some ads.
Programs.
Very simple. You make sure you have a landing page that shows the benefits of your product, or you just do a call ad. Make sure the person answering the phone is knowledgeable enough about your product that they can sell them the first go around.
You can also do YouTube ads. So it's a video ad to anybody in the area. So you could just type in the zip code that you work in, or even the county or whatever, the area you work in, and you're pushing these videos to wherever the attention is, because what you do is actually a little bit hard to generate leads on social media. That's probably why you're having a hard time. We've had a hard time business to business or corporate and stuff like that, because how do you target that one decision maker? And even if you can target them, it's so few people because you're only limited to this area, right? So you have to blanket out a little bit more and go wherever the attention is, which is YouTube, one of the places, and just target by area and let your creative, your video, do the filtering for you. So at the very beginning, you can start off with a hook and say something like, are you looking for
Looking for a team building exercise
like
to bring
that.
your team together, and then have some footage of team happy, people excited.
This one team building activity was able to, bring our team closer together. Give me 30 seconds, I'm going to explain to you how this works. You go into your thing, and then call to action. This is how you get started. Click below, just give me your phone number, I'll call you, and I'll give you the details, something like that.
And so you use people who are already looking for your problem to sell them. Google is very good for that. You type in a few keywords, and you say, I want you, if anyone types in this keyword, show my phone number. And then you test the ad, right? You run 3 or 4 different ones. Maybe one ad is more about the team building. Maybe one's more about how do you make more money for your company, right? Because that's what decision makers want to do. How do you make your employees happier so they don't quit? You run 4 or 5 different variations of that, and you see which one works. You spend $5 a day on them, and you let the phone ring, and you make sure you have a process in place to close people. The other thing is if you already have a physical asset like a website that's doing the,
Yeah. we
you
have
make
a
sure
website.
you retarget them to death, meaning the second they come on your website, you create a pop-up, and you find some reason for them to give you their phone number.
Okay.
Free employee training, free 50% off, blah, blah, blah.
Do you have a big list of past customers?
We have a few hundred.
Okay, I think that should be big enough to target on
Not
Google.
necessarily corporate
Right.
Doesn't have
clients, but people that we've trained. We're only a couple months old. So.
Okay, good. So those people, and as you get more and more, you can keep uploading that to Google, and like Dan was saying, you can retarget those people. Are you going to be able to
You're
find
saying
it?
upload my list to
Yes.
Google.
to. Oh, and
have-
Facebook.
Okay.
And Facebook,
And
yes.
have it built in and target people very similar.
And you can
to
say,
those.
oh, okay, I want you to show ads only to these people. Now, the way it works is, let's say you have 100 people, you might only match, or Google might only find you 50, 60, 30, depending on the data that you're feeding it. You want to give it as much data as you can. Name, email, phone number, zip code. The more data you give it, the more likely they are to find these people online. And then you can show your ads to them.
And then you incentivize your customers. You have a customer of 200 people, you have a referral factory. You essentially go to them and you say, hey, I'd like to buy you coffee. You can get me a name of someone I can talk to, I'll give you $50. Whatever you value a lead at. And you say, I'm going to give you a Starbucks gift card if you can get me the name of someone at your company or at a friend's company who manages HR, human resources. And then you pay your people to bring you leads. They're the best source of leads you can get is your existing customer base. You send them emails thanking them for their past business, and you feed them information. Maybe this path that it puts someone on teaches them some valuable lessons. Well, don't stop the learning at the event. Continue to email them every week about stuff that you talked about at the event, and you'll make these people, they'll never forget you. And then when you finally ask them for a referral, you've been giving them value for so long. You know what? John's company, they're looking for something to do for their employees, and she helped me out. So you just never give up on your list. No matter how long it's been since they bought from you, you keep working them. We call it the buy or die strategy. So you just keep hitting the list hard enough, and you will get good stuff out of that. And you ask them. You call some of your past customers and you say, I just wanted to follow up with you what you thought about the event. It's been a few months now, and listen, let them talk. And then when you have an opening, say, you know what, do you know anyone else who would benefit like you benefited from my thing? And then let them sell their friends and family. It's one of the best ways to work, specifically on lead
And
gen.
we were talking about keywords, so keywords, and also just for content idea, guys, you can go use these 2 websites. Also asked.com. I don't know if you ever noticed on Google when you like type in a question or keywords or whatever, and right under that it's like people also are asking about this or whatever, right? This website will give you all those questions that people are actually typing into Google, and now you can make content and just answer the questions, number 1. But number 2, like we were saying to you, for using Google keywords, that's where you can get all the keyword ideas. That's just one spot. Of course, you can use Google. AnswerThePublic.com is the other website. That one, you just enter any niche or just a broad general keyword, like let's say self-defense, and then it'll give you all kinds of questions people are asking online about self-defense. Not just the also asked one, it's a little bit different, but you'll get, hundreds of ideas there just with one search.
Yeah, and those little things you can do without any ad spend. A few hours of your time calling your customers, just being a person.
And I was going to say that also on the keywords that you find here, nobody's bidding on it. So like Dan's saying, you're gonna beat them out because people usually, like let's say for creatine, people will be best creatine for working out or whatever your keywords are, right? But this one might give you a keyword that says, what's the best creatine for a 55-year-old or something like that, right? Like something very specific and a little bit more what we call long tail that nobody thinks about or is bidding on, and now you're going to be number 1. And then, your ad shows up there.
It's looking for the low-hanging fruit. It's finding opportunities where you have an advantage because you service the customer, you know your product better than anyone else. You've been talking to them before. get the low-hanging fruit first. As I said with the strategy, everyone makes everything so complicated. They're looking for the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, and the pot of gold for their business is right in front of them, from their customer base to the stuff that they've learned about their product and service. So that's what I would do. I would work the immediate stuff first and then branch out from there.
Yeah.
So does anyone else generate leads or want leads? Want leads, information about leads for their business? Jesus, go ahead.
No, man, I don't need anything.
No.
No, it's great. I had a couple of thoughts too, as we we're going. I can come up here so we can, you had mentioned, maybe sometimes you sell physical products and you move it into information, or you might start with information, move it into physical products. This is a type of thing when I was thinking specifically when you were talking about your creatine, can be a good model where you start with, okay, well, I got creatine for people, so what else are they going to need once they start doing this? Will they need new exercise programs? Maybe I can sell them that. Do they need any type of equipment? Do they need clothing? Do they need, so you start thinking about, now that they have this thing, what are some other either problems that might arise that they need solved that I can solve for them, or just what is a complementary thing, whether it's another product or education that goes with it.
Cool.
And really that can go with pretty much anybody's business. There's a way to make that happen.
Awesome. Does anyone else have any business that we have not already addressed that would be?
Got one in the
What
back.
do you do, sir?
I'm a lifestyle coach.
Lifestyle coach, awesome. Okay.
So it started out as just like meal planning, workouts, supplement guidance, things like that. And then it kind of morphed into this whole like mental component, of course, because whenever you work in that kind of industry, you start to become people's like psychologists and stuff like that too. But that's it in a nutshell. So
Yep.
I've kind of identified what my target audience is, which it wasn't intentional, but for whatever reason, it's like 30 to 50-year-old women. I don't know how that happened, but my main source of leads has come from Facebook primarily.
Do you run ads on Facebook?
No.
Okay.
So
Organic.
I'm at a point right now where I've grown very organically through a lot of video testimonials, before and after pictures, people sharing content about their transformations and things like that. So I don't really deal with anybody, and I've grown to, I think I'm up to like 97 clients at this point.
Okay.
And I don't really deal with anybody that isn't a friend of a friend, which is great. Also, a problem with that is my price point is, after talking to a lot of people, is not where it needs to be at. But I've already set it for my little network of people on Facebook and Instagram. So my biggest thing that I'm wanting to get out of this is how do I, so 99% of my stuff comes from Facebook. One, I need more leads coming in because I have a super high, over 90% once we get to a comment or a messenger, they're closed over 90% of the time. So now I'm at this point where how do I get out of my little personal network, which is like 5,000 people on Facebook because that's where they max it out. How do I get ads out to people that don't know me so that I can get into charge what I'm really should be charging? Because you understand what I'm saying? I feel like I've already said it for...
It's a common problem specifically when you're used to selling stuff at a low rate because you're trying to build a business, and then you find that you're worth way more and your time's fractured because you only have so many hours in the day and you've been selling it for cheap to build your business, but you know you're worth more. So what currently you're using content, I'm assuming regular posted content to generate this business for yourself.
Yeah, I kind of suck at that too, but the gist of the content will be, you know, I do like little blog posts on just like informational type stuff. It's that, and it's before and afters and testimonials. That's it. I personally don't love being on camera, but there's a lot of people that are just like, well, you need more content of you, so that's kind of a weakness, a weak point for me, which I'm willing to.
Like, how often do you post content right now?
I mean, not daily, but it's not always fitness or lifestyle related. Sometimes it's just like,
Your life.
So this is what you can
just
do.
life, yeah.
Let me give you a basic overview strategy that we
But no, there's no engagement. Everybody engages on my personal.
Yeah, let's be clear about that. There's never going to be engagement on a Facebook page organically because they only give you max 2%. So we have pages that have over 1 million followers and they're viral people. Their content is really good and they still only see 30,000 reach, something like that. So that's not the strategy. But the reason you want to build the page is so you can start to see the different posts. There's insights on there, right? Analytics. And you're going to start to see one of these posts, it outperforms all the other ones. That's the one that you're going to put some money behind. You just want to boost it, or if you're a little bit more advanced and you know the business manager, then you can create like a video view campaign specifically or an engagement campaign. But the goal of this stage of your funnel is to just create audiences. So now once you have these audiences that have been watching your video, your content, the next step is to get a lead or turn them into a lead. And you can send them into Messenger, like you were saying.
Or you can get them to phone you, call you, or send them to a landing page.
Exactly. However you're generating your leads. Sounded like you were saying Messenger. So you can keep sending people in there.
So usually it's Messenger because if I make a post that's lifestyle specific or whatever, I'll say DM me for details.
Yeah.
But sometimes because of the business Facebook page, they will end up on my website and then they'll submit a questionnaire and that goes to my email.
Okay.
But it's such a small amount. It all happens because people are responding to a post that I made and I said, hop in my DM. That's like over 90% of the time. That's how.
So what you want to do is this audience that you've been creating, you want to put a lead magnet in front of them, something that they find valuable. It doesn't have to be super, huge thing. Like it doesn't have to be like a whole course or anything. It could just be like, I don't know, 9-step formula to do something, or a cheat sheet to this, or a checklist for going shopping. I think it sounded like you were doing fitness stuff and stuff like that. So maybe it's the one ab workout that is going to give you a 12-pack overnight.
But you find some reason.
Yeah, sign me up for that one too. But. Yeah, so you got to figure out like what is valuable to your audience, and that's what you put in front of them. Bring them into your world, whether that's email or Messenger, like we were just saying, and those are the people that you want to offer your paid services. So that funnel right there with a little bit more intricacies and stuff like that, like we use ManyChat, for example. I don't know if you're familiar with that platform. It hooks up to your Messenger channel, and it allows you to do some automation.
So you don't have to manually do all the work.
That's the other thing is kind of where I'm getting to. So I like the virtual platform because you're able to help more people and grow your business more, right? Because I don't have to physically be anywhere. But I am getting to the point now where it's such a personalized service that it's very hard to automate. And you know what I'm saying? And so a lot of this stuff, talking about just generating, that would just help. Like I don't have any answer right now for selling them on the back end because I enjoy that part. And I also enjoy planning for them. Eventually, I'm not going to be able to help as many people.
Well, that way you only spend your time talking to
people who can afford to pay you.
This part of the funnel, right? You have a question?
I know that you can, I was like told by one of my mentors. I was told by one of my mentors, because I kind of do the same thing. I'm actually a certified health coach and a yoga instructor, but I haven't, got into the yoga part just yet. But one of my mentors told me, like, you can pick a day to, draft up a lot of content, and then you can go on, like, social media, like when you have the separate page, your business page, you can have it where you schedule it out, so you're not, so if you're working, this is posting for you so that you don't have to worry about being on social media all day, because that's my problem.
There's a lot of tools for that. A lot of tools for that.
Like,
you
got to be trying to still, so many people, I use MailChimp too as well, because so many people, like, it can get overwhelming when so many people are trying to contact you through your DM. Yeah. And I like to keep things separate, so.
Yeah, that's where you got to start looking at automation. So, like you were saying, the email, but also the ManyChat. We'll do another workshop on ManyChat, so you guys can learn the
we'll do some stuff, because we're gonna break the whole idea from the strategy down to individual components and give some training on that. But specifically, when you're looking at, I have to be in the business because I have to give all the training. Well, that's an assumption, but is it true? Is there anything in your business that you can extract from it and create content around and get some revenue from that, while you, from that group of people, pick your best customers who are willing to pay you more money and service them personalized? You create a personalized service for a premium price. You have been doing that for a lower price, but that doesn't have to be the case. Maybe your existing customers, they're grandfathered in, but any new customers, you want my light plan? Here is a digital training, give you the basics. If you find that helps you, great, I want to service you. If you find that you need more personalized service, great, here's our plus plan. You find you want my number concierge style, you're going to pay for it, and you're going to pay what I'm worth. And so therefore, people aren't offended that you're charging them more money. You've earned it. And you don't piss people off who are already in your group. And then what you do is you set up more premium services. Maybe you have a text message thing where you send people motivational text messages, and they sign up for your premium plan. Your existing customers don't get that until they pay you. And then you find other ways to serve your audience, and you use that to extract money. But there's always something in every business that you can automate. Ways you can extract value from your business, from information to other things you can sell them, because people want stuff. They probably want the personalized service is probably what they want.
Yeah.
But they don't have to get that from you at the start. They can get a little bit of training, your best tips, my 5 tips for X, my 7 tips for Y. These are my one thing I do every morning, and you give it away. And then those people come into your world, and then you offer them something you make a little money on. And you keep selling them stuff, and they commit to it and then you have the people at the end of the day who are willing to pay you the money that you're worth to get.
I had a thought.
Yeah. No, it's okay. That's what this is for.
So I have one thought, like when I'm going through the exploratory process with people, they usually, not everybody's ready to go full in and have me telling them every ounce of food they should be eating and all that, right? So some of them are just like, I just want to mix up with my workouts. I just want to do something different.
Yeah.
And what I've realized is those people usually fall into like one of 5 buckets. They just want to lose body fat. They want to build muscle. A popular one is they just want to grow their lower extremities now. They don't really care about the top. They just want, the Kim Kardashian, whatever. And so I thought about creating 5 specific workouts and say, hey, you don't want to do the full thing? Fine. Just do this. It's $99. Plan, automate it, goes to you. Yeah. And in addition to that, you'll also get some generalized nutrition tips and things that you can do on your own. I'm not going to chart it out for you. You're going to get the workout for what you want, but then here's the playbook, and if you want to do the math and you want to do the calculations and you want to measure out everything, that's on you. So I feel like that might be kind of what I need.
And
to
then
do.
you
It's
say,
kind
well,
of a
they say, well, I want more help. And that's how people are. I want more help. I want more service. I want more. Well, you pay the man. You pay him, and you'll do the work. And so, but the people have a reasonable expectation that this is the starter plan. This is what most people do to get results. You want something a little more than that? It's going to take time out of my day to create a custom plan for you. And this is what that plan costs. And then don't be ashamed to say, this is what it costs. And you'll find that if people really are, if you bought into them and you've been nurturing them over time and you've been giving them value, it's a no-brainer that you've earned the right to ask them for as much money as you believe your services are worth. And then what you're doing is you've earned the right to then give the people who are paying the most money the most attention they're paying for it. And there's nothing to be ashamed of on that. And you might find the people who are your existing customers says, well, he doesn't have the time anymore. Great, well, I did launch this new premium program. I'd like to give you as much time as they are, but I need a more commitment out of you. This is a commitment from me, and I'm going to get a commitment from you, and we're going to work together towards your goal. And then show them the option. They can take it or not. But then you're valuing your time, and you're serving the people who are paying you for that right the most you can.
I had another question back there.
No, I mean, we have another like 15 minutes or so.
We have one more. We have one question over here, and then I think we had another question over here. We had one question right there.
Also, when we do wrap up, if you guys have other questions,
Yeah,
we're
we'll
going to be here
talk.
for a little bit. So
That's a
by
good
all means,
point, guys. We
we'll
just
be
have
happy to
the
talk with you guys more.
scheduled, and then afterwards, everybody can hang out for sure, and we can keep chatting.
Exactly.
So I own a mobile billboard that's digital that drives all around town.
Okay.
And, business to business transactions.
Mm-hmm.
I get a lot of business from cold calling. And now that we labeled up the cars, I'm getting a lot of calls from that.
Mm-hmm.
I just started my Facebook page not too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
it's got 200 likes or 200 follows or whatever it's called nowadays. And I'm hearing you say that if I get it to 2,000, which I was confident that I would do in the next year because I've got some plans on how to get it there, I know right away that out of those 2,000, at least 75% of them are going to be consumers, not business owners. So out of those 2,000, if only 25% of them are business owners, that's 2 times 25, that's about 50 people. No, yeah, about 50 people, maybe 500 people, I don't know. But anyway, my point is if only a small percentage of them are even seeing my content, should a B2B business even bother doing a fan page or a business page?
You should, because if anyone ever looks you up, you need to have a presence. It's not about that they're going to
That's
see all
more
your
what it
content.
is.
It's the vetting that everyone does.
Yeah.
You want to go to a dentist and you're looking him up. You go to his Facebook page. He hasn't posted since 2017. Do you
And
wanna
also, there's reviews on the page, so people look for
Reviews.
that too.
So in other words, have the page,
post
do
to it
some work.
consistently?
Yeah,
but don't, make
focus on building followers. It's not. It's good for social proof. It's kind of like a review thing. It's like people look at your page and they're like, oh, okay, well, he has a few hundred or a few thousand followers. Like he's somebody. He's not a ghost, right? And then they'll look at your reviews, and then they'll look at your posts too, you know, to see what you're posting about. Maybe you can do videos kind of like what you normally would talk about during a sales presentation or things like that as your content, so that if anybody lands on there, they can get warmed up and then call you, as opposed to you having to do always cold calls. But definitely, I wouldn't say your strategy should be to, you know, build it to 2,000, 5,000, or even 10,000, because it's a pay-to-play platform now.
I see. Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And then what you
We
want to
got-
think about is your existing customer. Everybody you should treat them cold and extract referrals from them.
She's got one more, and then we'll move on.
You had mentioned text messaging earlier.
Yeah.
And I know me, if I have a text message, I open it right away. If I get an email, it goes into my slot of 50,000 other emails. Is there a platform that you recommend that is best for sending out to your 300 customers that you've had?
So there's
to retain them?
easy texting and simple text. All you have to do is type in easy texting. You can create automated flows, upload a list of phone numbers, and it'll do the job for you. Or you can do one off. Simple text does a very similar thing. There's a call rail will do it. There's a ton of platforms where if you load a list, you hit a button, it'll send a text message to your whole list.
But the ones we use are simple texting and easy texting.
Okay, great.
And you can
thanks.
create them very smart. You can say, hey, reply, get offer to get my next get 20% off. And then they'll text you back, and then it'll save it, and it'll notify you. And then you have a customer who says, I want to buy now. And so you reward them for doing that. And you just text. Hit one button, you can get a bunch of people to text you back.
Great.
I want to do a YouTube ad.
Yes, sir.
How long should it be to get your content across, you know, time-wise? Because
Well, you mean how long should the video be, or how long should you run the ad?
how long should a video be? To
Depends
keep
on where you
keep
want to show it.
attention?
So,
YouTube.
Huh?
YouTube.
You do, I know, but how, where do you want to show it? There's different YouTube placements. There's a pre-roll ad. It's an ad that'll show before a regular video. A lot of times you want
Those
those
skippable ones.
skippable.
Right?
And then there's an ad that shows up in the side. You know, if you ever go on YouTube and you have like the recommended videos, they're on the side. Those it really doesn't really matter so much. If it's a pre-roll ad that's showing like a TV commercial, like you're watching Don Whisper, and there's an ad supposed to show, you don't want those things to be too long. Maybe about a minute, 2 minutes.
Okay.
But the most important part is that first 15 seconds.
Okay.
It has to give your message and give a person a reason to click or watch the video. Otherwise, it's gone
hook.
forever. So it's not about the length of the video. It's the value you can provide at the very beginning of the
About
video.
the first 20 seconds, get what you come across.
Yeah. Give them everything that they want from you in that first 15 seconds. Even if it seems like, well, I don't want to give everything away. Well, the reason is they're going to forget they ever saw it to begin with. By the time they watch the end of the video, they won't know what the beginning was ever anyway. But you can create the excitement for them to keep watching it.
So question, do you think part of what he should do in his little video in the first 15 seconds is to give them an incentivized reason to reach out to him? Say, if you do this because you see this ad, then I'll give you blank percentage off your service or something like that.
Well, what do you sell? Let's start there. What do you do?
Odor removal service.
Oh, what?
Odor removal.
Odor removal. So
Yeah, I do real estate, homeowners,
Yes.
management, cars.
So if you think about a YouTube ad, you're interrupting someone's day. They're looking to watch a cat video and then you're showing your stuff. So you need to give someone a reason why you've interrupted their time. So do you have a problem with odor in your home? Do you blah, blah, blah. You start with the pain point and you hit it home so that the person who you want as your ideal customer clicks the link.
You got to hook them in to watch.
Why my opening line when I talk to people, smells don't sell.
Correct, but that doesn't mean anything to someone who doesn't know who you are. They're looking for a cat video or watch a dance-off competition. So you need to say, do you have a problem with X? And then the people who have that problem will be inclined to your message. You're not trying to speak to everyone. You're trying to speak to that one person who's interested in your service. And then that one person, the algorithm will showing that ad.
So let's say you're targeting realtors, right? So you could say something like, this one thing I'm about to show you has, realtors have told me that they lost $50,000 on the sale. Okay, so keep watching someone tell you. Yeah. Well, that's basically what you're saying, smells don't sell or whatever, but you're saying it in a different way that it's like, oh, I'm about to lose $50,000, I better watch his video. You know what I mean? Because it's like Dan's saying, you're just interrupting them, so you got to hook them. And so you got to try these different hooks. So it could be, this one thing lost my client $50,000. So just give me 30 seconds, I'm going to explain what it is.
I was thinking about when I'm doing my next house, I was going to do like a short video. Man, if you can smell this video,
Yeah, but you're not giving
like
people context. So, and you're not calling out your desired audience. Are you a realtor who wants to double your commissions? Watch the video, and I'll sell you something you're missing from your blah, 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 blah.
Right.
Call your audience out. You're more likely to get them to do what you want. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next thing. So a lot of people will ask, as for this whole strategy, right? The whole point of a strategy is how do you acquire customers? How do you get revenue? And that's the point of this whole thing. So when we talk about that, as I said, don't make it too complicated. Work with what you have first. Get revenue before you do anything. Focus on where you're already making your money. But you'll find that you might still have some questions. So what we at AGM do, this is what we do every day. Our job is to help you scale a business, solve your business's problems, acquire customers. And we have marketing people who, if you needed someone to brainstorm with, you could call and we can give you some insights, a little more personalized than the group setting that we're in. How do you acquire customers? Something's not working in my ads. And one of the things that we do these events for is to serve the community and to serve the people who need our services. So if you go to agmagency.com, you could book a call with one of our marketing professionals, and they can spend a few minutes just brainstorming, how do I acquire customers? How do I upsell my list? How do I get more, launch a brand? And you might find that some of those little nuggets are a little more personalized than this presentation that we've done. So one of the things that that's important to us, the mandate that Manuel has given the agency, is to serve businesses. And so with that, I want to leave you with that. The agency itself is available. You call, you can speak to one of our people, and if we can find the way to help you, and you find value in that, we can do that, and we'll show you how that can be done in a lot of different things. We have training for these purposes. We have personalized one-on-one. We have agency services. We have a Ninja Lab. We have all different things for businesses of all sizes that you could come in and get your needs met for how do you acquire customers, how do you build your business. So a lot of the things that people a lot of times will ask us is, how do I make content? How do I get an influencer? Because it's, a lot of the things that people show up to the workshops, as I said, they make it complicated. And one of the things that we're starting to grow into a lot is influencer marketing. There's a lot of people who no one wants to make their own videos. No one wants to create their own content. Like, well, what do I do? Well, one of the things that we're going to be rolling out to the community is ways to do it easy. The agency has plans that, hey, I need an influencer. I need someone to rep my product, my supplement, my home cleaning business, my realtor business. And we have a plan that we could put together that gets you influencers easy for your business that work, create ads. So you don't have to worry about making videos. You don't have to worry about editing them. You don't have to worry about all this stuff that's a big deal in today's market where you have to get attention for your brand. So if you have any questions sort of about how do I get content for my business? How do I create ads? We have a plan that our marketing professionals could talk to you about of how do you go about getting 1 or 2 influencer videos? Not staged, not acted, real people who talk about your product or service and give a testimonial, something that you can run and be proud of your business online, and that you can let work and be the salesperson for your business. Nothing sells a product or service better than someone talking about it. And a lot of times, some people don't want to be in front of the camera, or they have to go asking, you want to make me a video, you want me a video? Well, we're putting together a series of plans that allow that to happen for anyone's business, depending on, no matter what you sell. And so,
And nowadays also, nothing sells better than a person, you know, talking about the product instead of the brand, right?
Exactly.
It's like people, like it says here, people trust people more than they trust like just a brand, you know, putting out an image of your product or whatever, and here's some benefits, okay, but who's used this really? You know, that's why reviews are so big on Amazon.
And so that's one of the things that sort of we want to leave you here. If you got anything from this thing today, simplify your business in a way that you can put a strategy in place that you're actually going to implement. You could do any number of 500 things that if you fracture your time, you won't get anything done. Find one thing to do that you can do tomorrow, you could do next week, to maybe get that one lead, get that one referral, close that one deal, and then take that and build upon that towards a goal. Then when you have that working, then you add to it, and you add to it, and you add to it, and you add to it. Anyway, thank you all for coming tonight. Our next workshop will be in 2 weeks, and we're going to... And one of the things we're going to do is, as we do these, we're going to break some of these big topics into little topics. We're going to do some stuff on ManyChat. We'll do some stuff on how do you create a little video? How do you edit a video? How do you ask for referrals? We're going to have some training on all these little topics. But today's topic is sort of an overarching idea on what should you do first before you do all these little steps.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.